Okay, so there will be 3 lectures on Brahmasputa Siddhanta of Brahmagupta. So 2 lectures will be delivered by me. This is the first part. So this gives an outline. I will give just an introduction about Brahmagupta, then 20 logistics that he talks about, especially cube root I will deal a little bit, then rule of proportion, then mixtures, interest calculations, so then arithmetic and geometric progressions, then geometry, essentially some plane figures, triangles, right triangles and quadrilaterals. Okay. Brahmagupta is described as Ganaka Chakra Chudamani, jewel among the circle of mathematicians by Bhaskara II. He was held in high esteem by most of the astronomer and mathematicians in India who followed him. He holds a remarkable place in the history of Eastern civilization. It was from his works that Arabs learnt astronomy before they became acquainted with Ptolemy. Say for instance, Brahmasputa Siddhanta in some forum went to Arabia, Arab speaking countries, and it was translated as Sindh Hind. And similarly, one more work of him, Khanda Kadyaka, also was translated as Al Arkanth, and that had a profound influence on development of mathematics in the Islamic Arab region. He was born in 598 Common Era, and he composed his Brahmasputa Siddhanta in 24 chapters and a total of 1008 verses in Common Era 628. And there is a very elaborate commentary on this work by Prutudaka Swami around about 2.5 centuries later. So you can see that Aryabhatiya has only 121 verses. This is a much more elaborate work. Earlier, as you would have seen from Aryabhatiya, mathematics also is a part of the astronomy text. Brahmagupta also followed the same pattern. The 2 chapters on essentially on mathematics here, one on arithmetic, which includes actually geometry, and other on algebra, and of course as Professor M. D. Srinivas pointed out, it has the chapter on Chandas also. This lecture and the next one deal with arithmetic. So in the arithmetic he talks about 20 logistics: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, square, square root, cube, cube root. There are some 6 rules of reduction of fractions, then rule of proportions, rule of 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11, and barter, and what he calls 8 determinations: mixture, progression, plane figures, excavations, stacks, saw, mound and shadow. So that is how he divides it. So elementary operations, most elementary operations he will discuss only briefly, as if people are expected to know already, and he deals first with fractions, reducing them to a common denominator, etc., and multiplications and divisions. Then when he talks about cube, I will not discuss all the operations in detail. When he talks about cube, it is based on the formula a plus b whole cubed is equal to a cube plus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared plus b cubed, and I will talk about cube root briefly. Cube root extraction is discussed in verse 7, which is the same procedure as in Aryabhatiya, which Professor Ram Subramaniam has dealt with in great detail. But anyway, for completion I will say that Chedo Ghana Vitiyat Ghanamoola Krutis Stri Sanguna Sakrutihi Shodhya Tripurva Ganita Prathamat Ganato Ghano Moolam. The translation is: divisor for the second non-cubic digit is thrice the square of the cube root. The square root of the quotient multiplied by 3 and by the preceding must be subtracted from the next non-cubic, and the cube from the cubic digit, that is the root which has already been found. So anyway, it has been discussed in great detail. So just like for square root you divide into varga and avarga, here you are dividing into groups of 3. My notation is slightly different from Ram Subramaniam, but it is the same thing. In fact, the example is essentially the same thing. So the number is written as C, C1, N2, N1, C, N2, N1 like that C. So, groups of 3 and C is the cubic term and N1 is the first non-cubic term and N2 is the second non-cubic. So, groups of 3 are there. For example, in this 1771521, so you write it as 1 is C, 7 you start from the right actually, right, 1 is C, 2 is N1, 5 is N2 and so on. So, when you do the, I do not have to explain, already it has been the same example has been done. So, I will skip the details, you just have to you have to first the first cubic term, you take the term which is some term which is whose cube is less than that. So, of course, here only Q is C is 1, but sometimes it may be as many as 3 digits. Okay. So, C, the last C left, here it is 1 or this thing, if single digit, of course, it has to be only 1 or 2, the cube root will be 1 or 2, that first digit of the cube root. It may be some 998. So, then you have to that the first digit of the cube root will be 9. So, like that. So, and then you proceed as he said you divide the first, you divide by the subtract the cube root of the first digit, cube of the first digit, and then divide by 3 into square of that, and then you subtract and the 3 into the first digit of the cube root, and whatever quotient you have got, you take the square of that and that you subtract and so on, and the rationale for that also has been explained in great detail. Okay. Now, of course, if you have perfect cubes, of course, it is very simple to teach, but what do you do if you do not have perfect cubes? It is not stated here, but implicit in later text is that essentially multiplies by powers of 10 cubed, like 1000 or 1000 squared and all that, and similarly the cube root is correspondingly divided by 10 or 10 squared and so on. So, that is what the later, some of the later texts discuss. Okay. So, I do not have to go more about this cube root. So, then he talks about the rule of proportion, which is a very important thing, Trairashika, and of course, generalizations of that to 5, 7, 9 etc. So, the problem is, suppose you have a pramana A and the pramana phala is B, then what is the phala for some ichha C? So, C is ichha, then ichha phala is what? Okay. So, the direct rule of 3 will give D is equal to C into B by A. Okay. So, you take the pramana phala, then divide by the pramana and then multiply by the ichha. But sometimes you have inverse rule of 3. So, then in that case you have to the numerator, what you will get is the pramana, and denominator you get the ichha. So, he gives an Pruthutaga for instance gives an example, a person gives away 108 cows in 3 days. How many does he bestow in a year and a month? That is 390 days, year is taken to be 360, month is 30. So, here it is clearly a direct rule. So, the first is the B is 108, the pramana phala, the pramana is 3 and the ichha is 390. So, 390 by 3 into 108. So, this is the answer. Now, inverse rule, Pruthutaka in his commentary has given these examples. The measure of a certain quantity is equal to 10 units, that is B, when the unit is 3.5 P, where P is some fundamental unit. What is the measure when the unit is 5.5 is equal to 11 by 2 P, which is C. See here, pramana, the first unit is 3.5 and pramana phala is the first measure, which is 10. Ichha, the second unit is 5.5. So, we have to find out the ichha phala, the second measure. So, we have to use the inverse rule A by C into B to obtain the ichha phala. So, because if the unit is large, the number of these things will be what you get is less, right. I mean, if you have some length, the number of inches is much more than the number of feet. So, it is that is the unit is more, then the what you get the measurement will be less. So, now for the proportions involving more quantities, he gives an example. The price of 100 bricks of with the length, thickness and breadth respectively are 16, 8 and 10 is settled in 6 dinars. We have received 100,000 of other bricks, a quarter less in every dimension. Say what we ought to follow. So, the length, thickness and breadth are 16, 8 and 10 and the price is 6. Okay. Then the for 100,000 bricks, what is the amount? Okay, where this each of these dimension is 1 quarter less. Okay, 16 becomes 12. So, the length is 12 instead of 16, the thickness is 6 instead of 8 and the breadth is 30 by 4 instead of 10. So, we are dividing by 3 by 4. So, then in that case the answer will be, so the direct rule of proportion 12 by 16 into 6 by 8 into 30 by 4 into 10. So, 100,000 by 100 and the original price for 100 for these dimension was 6. So, I have to multiply all these things and the final answer is 2531 1 by 4. One can go on like this with examples involving rule of proportions, both direct and inverse. Indeed, the text and the commentary have many more examples. So, next in the section 2, Brahmagupta takes up problems involving mixtures. So, for instance, to give you an example, the 15th verse will give a problem involving a calculation of interest in financial transactions. Remember that interest is calculated in is mentioned in Aryabhatiya also. So, the what is discussed in this verse is the following: that the interest and a principal P for a time t0 be I0. This interest I0 is lent out at the same rate for further time t. Let the interest on this be I1. So, at the time of t1, end of t1, the amount owed by the second borrower is I0 plus I1, this is A1. So, when we are given A1 and P and T0, you have to find out I0. So, what I am saying is that see, the first borrower has received an amount principal P and for time t is equal to T0, the interest for that is I0. Now, a second borrower receives an amount I0, borrows an amount I0 from the first borrower at the same interest, and suppose after T1 the interest for this amount I0 is I1. So, now what is given is A1 is equal to I0 plus I1. So, this is the amount which the second borrower owes to the first borrower after time t1. So, that is principal plus interest. So, we have to find from this I0 and I1 separately. Parakala Hruto Vidhadya Mishravadhat Anyardha Krutiyutat Padam Anyardhena Pramana Phalam. The translation is: the product of the time and principal divided by the further time is 5z down. From the product of the one by the mixed amount added to the square of half the other, extract the square root. That root less half the second is the interest of the principal. So, if I express it in mathematically, it will be clearer. So, I0, the expression given is that I0 is minus P T0 by T1 plus square root of this quantity where A1 is I0 plus I1 and which is I0, you see, but I1, see, for interest the principal P and for time T0 the interest is I0. So, for principal I0 for time T1 the interest is this. So, I1 is I0 into I0 by P into T1 by T0. So, this is the rule of 5 we are doing. So, this is A1 and A1 is given. So, I0 squared into T1 by P T0 plus I0 is A1. So, this is the equation. So, you see that there is a quadratic equation coming. So, the quadratic equation, the solution is given by this. So, because the solution of the quadratic equation, this kind of a thing is even discussed in Aryabhatiya, not for this problem, but in the context of progressions. So, this is the solution he is giving. So, which is correct. So, of course, there is another root, as we know that it has got two roots, but here it is not meaningful, the second root is not meaningful. So, he does not discuss it, and an example is given in the commentary. So, suppose P is 500, T0 is sorry, P is 500, T0 is 4 months, T1 is 10 months, then mixed amount is 78. Okay, what the second borrower has to return to the first borrower, that is the amount he borrowed plus the interest on that is 78. Then what is the interest I0 on P for 4 months? So, clearly using this formula we get 60. So, already some sophistication has come. So, next he talks about, these are all Vyavahara Ganita, which will be useful for ordinary transactions in day to day life. For instance, verse 16 says, Prakshepa yoga hrutaya labdhya prakshepaka guna labhaha unadikottaraha tadyutonaya swaphala moona vitam. The contributions taken into the profit divided by the sum of the contributions or the several gains, or if there be subtractive or additive differences with the profit increased or diminished by the differences, and the product thus has the corresponding differences subtracted or added. Again, it is easier to discuss it using mathematics, this thing with the mathematical notation. The first rule is says that suppose for some transaction 1, 2, 3 etc. are contributing C1, C2 etc. and suppose the profit gain is total profit gained is P, then how do you distribute it among 1, 2 etc. Okay. So, then there is the gains which have to be enjoyed by each of these people. So, that let there be P1, P2 etc. Then clearly Pi will be equal to Ci by C into P, and the second rule says it goes a little more complicated. So, suppose you are not given the total gain P, but total gain plus some quantity. Okay. Suppose that is how the problem is posed. So, then in that case similarly your Pi or to P prime I is Pi plus A, you define it like this, and the total this P prime will be P plus A, which is this sigma Pi plus sigma Ai. Then suppose P prime is given, so then find P is equal to P prime minus A, and from P you get Ci by C into P, and P prime I is Pi plus A. If you discuss an example, probably it will be clear. 4 colleges containing an equal number of pupils were invited to partake of a feast. 1/5, half, 1/3 and 1/4 came from the respective colleges to the feast, and added to 1, 2, 3, 4 they were found to amount to 87. So, then you have to find out the various numbers. Of course, even that full statement of the problem is sometimes not given. So, obviously this is what you have to find. So, here the C1, C2, C3, C4 are in the ratio, it is given 1 by 5 into is to 1 by 2 is to 1 by 3 is to 1 by 4. So, 12 is to 30 is to 20 is to 15. So, the total will be 77, but what is given is not that. So, it is given A1 is 1, A2 is equal to 2, A3 is equal to 3, A4 is equal to 4. So, A is 10, and this added quantity is total added quantity is 10. So, then P prime is whatever this P plus A, so that is 87, we take it as 87, and then P will be 77 because P 87 is what is given, and A is 10. So, your P will be P prime minus A will be 77, and then from 77 you get this Pi is Ci by C into P. So, P1 is 12 by 77 into 77, that is 12, P2 is 30. So, what is coming here is this, this contribution 12, 30, 20, 15, right. So, those are the corresponding quantities you have to multiply. So, you get P2 is equal to 30, P3 is equal to 20, P4 is equal to 50. So, this is the number of students who have come from the various colleges. Okay. Now, he goes to the arithmetic progression. So, in the arithmetic progression it is essentially the result is the same as in Aryabhatiya. So, the result is the sum of the arithmetic progression is given as Padameka Hina Muttara Gunitam Samyukta Madinantya Ghanam Adi Utantya Ghanardham Madhya Ghanam Padagunam Gunitam. The period less 1 multiplied by the common difference being added to the first term is the amount of the last. Half the sum of the last and first terms is the mean amount, which multiplied by the period is the sum of the whole. Period means the number of terms, and naturally the average of these quantities in the arithmetic these things, it is first and last divided by 2, right. So, that is the mean amount. So, then what is given is, so you got the arithmetic progression a plus d, a plus 2d, etc., a plus n minus 1d. So, this is the arithmetic progression. The sum is given by a plus, so, the first term, then the last term, you add them, then divide by 2, then multiply by the number of terms. So, Na plus n into n minus 1 into d by 2. So, where so this is the average, this one is the average. So, geometrical progression is dealt with in the commentary. Brahmasputa Siddhanta itself does not discuss it in the 12th chapter. So, for finding the sum of a series, the increasing twofold or threefold, etc. Here have the geometrical progression, where suppose the factor is r. So, then first term is a, then ar squared, etc., ar to the power of n minus 1 if the number of terms is n. So, then the sum is a is the initial term or is the multiplier, then the sum is a plus ar squared, etc., plus ar to the power of n minus 1. So, is a into r to the power of n minus 1 by r minus 1. So, to find r to the power of n, the traditional procedure as in Chandra's text is given. So, what is done is, he stated is, at the various stages in the commentary, if the number is odd, subtract 1 and write m, if the number is even, divide by 2 and write s, go on till you exhaust, obtain 1, below that is r, and then to find r to the power of n, multiply by r whenever there is m and square the quantity when it is s. So, this was nicely explained by Professor Srinivas yesterday. So, this is the optimal method of finding the nth power of a number. See, suppose the number of terms is 17. So, then 70 is an odd number. So, 17 minus 1 16. So, you write m. So, then 16 is divided by 2 is divisible by 2 8. So, you write s. 8 is divisible by 2 is 4. So, you write s, and 4 is divisible by 2. So, 2 you write s, and 2 is divisible by 2 is 1 s. So, you have got 1, and then below this you stop, okay, r. So, now you go to the next column, you start with r. So, whenever there is s you square it, and whenever there is m you multiply by r. So, if you start with r at the bottom, now you are going reverse. So, r, next is s, so r square. So, next is again is s, so r to the power of 4, the next again is s, r to the power of 8, next is r to the power of 16, and then last is m. So, you have to multiply by r, so r to the power of 17. So, that is what it does. Okay. So, the reason is clear. When one is subtracting 1, one is essentially dividing by r, and when one is dividing by 2, one is finding the square root. So, go on till get 1, finally multiplier is r. Naturally, to obtain r to the power of n, you have to do it in the reverse order. So, you have to square it and multiply it instead of dividing and this thing, right. So, essentially the sum is this a into r to the power of, after finding r to the power of n, this is the sum a into r to the power of n minus 1 by r minus 1. So, this quantity minus 1 into initial term divided by multiplier minus 1. Okay. So, we come back to the arithmetic progression, the number of terms is given, again it is the result which is given in Aryabhatiya, so which probably Professor Ram Subramanian will explain in greater detail. So, you clearly you had seen earlier the expression for S, right. So, S is this, so S is quadratic n r. So, if you know n, a and d, you can find S, but suppose you know S, d and a, to find n, clearly it is a quadratic equation. So, the solution is first given by Aryabhatiya in Aryabhatiya. So, here he is giving the same thing, so which is couched in this verse. Uttarahina Dvigunadi Shesha Vargam Ghanottara Ashtavade Prakshipya Padam Sheshonam Dvigunottara Hrutam Gachaha. So, this is clear enough. Again, one talked about, suppose you do the sum, then sum of sums you take. Okay. So, first sum is 1 plus, the first sum is the sum of the first n integers 1 plus n, third n into n plus 1 by 2, the sum of sums. So, that is you take r into r plus 1 by 2, that you sum from 1 to n, and that is given by sum into period plus 2, period is, you remember, is n. So, sum itself is n into n plus 1 by 2. So, this sum is n into n plus 1 into n plus 2 divided by 2 into 3. Generalization of that will be given by Narayana Pandita later, but the sum of sums is, they stop here, Aryabhatiya and Brahmaspati Siddhanta. And similarly, for sum of squares and sum of cubes, the results are the same as in Aryabhatiya, so which are given here. So, now we will go to some geometry. So, where he discusses triangles and quadrilaterals in some detail, and the first he will give the area of the this thing triangles and quadrilateral. The product of half the sides and counter sides is the gross area of triangle and tetragon, which is essentially quadrilateral. Half the sum of the sides set down 4 times and severally lessened by the sides being multiplied together, the square root of the product is the exact area. So, here he first gives some approximate results which may be useful at times, and then he will give the exact result. So, if you have a quadrilateral like this, so with sides a, b, c, d, so then the S is the semi perimeter is half the sum of sides is a plus b plus c plus d by 2. The gross area is taken to be a plus d by 2 into b plus c by 2, it is called approximate area, and the exact area is given by this expression square root of s minus a into s minus b into s minus c into s minus d. And the expression for the exact area, as you would have remarked earlier, is correct only for a cyclic quadrilateral. This is not true for a general quadrilateral, but this result is of course valid cyclic quadrilateral. Any square, rectangle, isosceles, trapezia is all for all them this result will be exact. So, now the proof is not given in the commentary, or much later only it will come in Ganita Yukti Bhasha of Jeshtadeva, which will be discussed later on. It is a very elaborate proof of this result is given. Of course, this for the quadrilateral, cyclic quadrilateral, for the triangle you take one side to be 0, so then you will get the result for the, and for triangle it is always true, because any triangle is cyclic, because any triangle you can always have a circle which is going through all the vertices. So, then he will talk about the abhada, the base and perpendicular in a triangle. So, this is an interesting thing which I will discuss. भुजकृत्यंतर भूहृतहीनयुता भूर्द्विभाजिता बाधे स्वाबाधा वर्गोनाद भुजवर्गात मूलम अवलंबः. So, the difference of the squares of the sides being divided by the base, the quotient is added to and subtracted from the base, the sum and the remainder divided by 2 are the segments, and the square root extracted from the difference of the side of its corresponding base is a perpendicular. So, again it is much easier to explain with the diagram and the notation. So, here ABC is a arbitrary triangle. So, A is the base, C and B are the sides. Okay. So, then you draw a perpendicular from A to the base BC. So, AD is the perpendicular. So, then segments, this abadha is BD and CD, these are the segments. Okay. So, then he is giving the expression for the segments CD and BD and the perpendicular in terms of the sides. So, the segments are CD is equal to A plus B squared minus C squared by A, whole thing divided by 2, and BD is this. Okay. So, we can easily prove it. So, because BD squared for instance is AB squared minus AD squared. So, C squared minus AD squared, which is written as and AD squared, it is again it is CD squared minus AD squared. AD squared is again B squared minus CD squared. So, finally, you get CD squared minus BD squared is equal to B squared minus C squared, or CD minus BD into CD plus BD is B squared minus C squared, but CD plus BD is equal to BC is equal to A. So, then and CD minus BD we have found to be B squared minus C squared by A. So, finally, this CD and BD are found from these two equations. So, it is A plus B squared minus C squared by A, whole thing divided by 2, and A minus B squared minus C squared by A, whole divided by 2, as this is how it is stated. And AD is you can found either from AD is C square root of C squared minus this segment square, or this side squared minus the corresponding segment square root of that. So, all the theorems results are following from the theorem of the right triangle. So, then for an isosceles trapezium he is giving a result avishama chaturashra bhuja pratibhuja vadayoho yute padam karanaha karanakruti bhuhu mukhayuti dala vargona padam lambaha. So, in any triangle, again I think instead of reading out the translation, what I will explain it straight away. So, you have what he does not say is the isosceles trapezium, but it is actually applicable only to an isosceles trapezium, you see, where the two flanks are equal. So, here CD is the base, AB is the summit. So, AD and CB, BC are the diagonals. So, for an isosceles trapezium clearly they are equal. So, and then he gives AD squared, we can find that AD squared is AF squared plus FD squared, and so on. It is just simple application of these results, and the right triangle theorem, the so called Pythagoras theorem. So, AD finally you get AD is equal to BC is square root of AC into BD plus AB into CD. So, it is just a matter of doing a few steps with the, and AF squared, there is a lamba, right. So, the perpendicular, that AF squared is given by diagonal squared minus base plus summit by 2 whole square, okay, because you have found the diagonal AD, you square it and then take the base plus summit by 2 whole square. So, that is the. So, then it is interesting that all these, after giving all these results, then he comes to the theorem of the right triangle, the so called Pythagoras theorem. So, probably it should be called the Bauddhayana theorem, in whatever way, everybody has strong views on this, and but it is known that most of the civilizations knew about Pythagoras theorem before Pythagoras, that is for certain. So, he says that Karanakrutehe koti krutam vishodya moolam bhujo bhujasya krutim proksha padam koti bahu kruti uti padam karanaha. Subtracting the square of the upright from the square of the diagonal, the square root of the remainder is the side, or subtracting the square of the side, the root of the remainder is the upright, and the root of the sum of the squares of the upright and the side is the diagonal. So, you are expressing it in this thing, either you get the side from, side is there, upright is there, is diagonal. So, side is diagonal is found from upright and side, or side is found from upright and diagonal, and so on, but the essential result is diagonal square is upright square plus square square. So, then he talks about the segments of the diagonal and the perpendicular. So, again I will go state the, so this is the verse कर्णयुता ऊर्ध्वाधर खंडे कर्णावलंब योगे वा स्वाबादे स्वयुति हृते विधा पृथक कर्ण लंबक गुणे. So this is the result, and the translation is this. Instead of that reading out the translation, I am telling what he is trying to say. So these are a trapezium like this. Okay. So the diagonals are intersecting at I. From the point of the intersection, you drop a perpendicular. Okay. So then essentially to find the segments AI and ID, okay, etc., from the diagonal and the segments and so on. Okay. So for instance, ID is given by GD into AD by DF. Okay. So that is corresponding segment of the base into diagonal divided by complement of segment. So it is all rule of proportion, similar, using similar triangles. So that is what he is doing, but actually this is true not only when I is at the intersection, for any other point also it is true. So if you have I prime, okay, essentially if you want to find I prime D will be equal to G prime D into AD by instead of you will have this G prime D and AD by AF. So just a rule of proportion. And similarly perpendicular, IG and I prime G prime. So these are the portions of the perpendicular, you can say this is the real perpendicular, and now we are getting some portions when you drop perpendicular some arbitrary points. So they are all given by the rule of proportion. Okay. So now he goes to the circumradius of a triangle and a cyclic quadrilateral. So the result is the diagonal of a quadrilateral other than a general one being multiplied by the flank and divided by twice the perpendicular is a central line, that is the circumradius. So this is the earlier verse, part of the verse 26 in the chapter 12. Then the other thing is the next verse gives for the circumradius of a triangle. So that is Tribhujasya vado bhujayoho dvigunita lambodhruto hrudaya rajjuhu tri chaturbuja hrudaya dvigunam vahivruta vishkambaha. So this is the, so what he is saying is the product of the two sides of a triangle divided by twice the perpendicular is the central line, and the double of this is the diameter of the exterior circle. So I will take this, see for instance this is a ABC is a triangle and ABCD prime is the cyclic quadrilateral. Okay. So both of them I am giving in the same figure. So you have to find the circumradius. So what you do is, let O be the center of the circle. Okay, you draw the perpendicular AD from A to this side BC. So call it as P. So the sides of the triangle, AB is C, AC is B. Okay. So we take up the triangle thing comes later, but it is easier to handle. So here the side you have to find out the circumradius, right, AF. So what you do is essentially you this line A from O you just go up to F where it touches the circle, then join this. Okay. So then we know that this angle will be equal to this angle, ABC is equal to AFC. So because they are standing on the same base, so in the same portion of the circle, so they will be equal. So then the triangles and this angle ACF, you know that this will be a semicircle. So ACF will be essentially 90 degrees. Of course he does not give this, I am giving the this thing. So essentially ABD, so triangle ABD and ACF, these triangles will be similar. Okay. So because this angle will be equal to this angle and essentially this angle will be equal to this angle. Okay. So, then from this thing you get AB by AD will be equal to AF by AC. So, AB divided by AD is equal to AC by AF by AC. So, C by P is 2R by B. So, R is B into C divided by 2P. So, product of sides divided by 2 into perpendicular. So, the circumradius, I think, is the first time that it has been got. It does not prove it. Again, it is proved in Yukti Bhasha, which will be discussed later. Of course, the simpler circumradius, all these, the diagonals, etc., are taken up together in Yukti Bhasha in one this thing. So, it will come. Now, for a cyclic quadrilateral, so again, this A B C D prime, it not be D is D prime, A B C D prime is a cyclic quadrilateral. So, here AC is B is a diagonal, okay, and AD is equal to P is the perpendicular, okay. So, you make use of this portion, triangular portion of the cyclic quadrilateral, okay. In A B C D prime, you take this. So, C into B, the two sides will be of this triangle will be C, that is one of the sides of the quadrilateral, and B, which is the diagonal of the cyclic quadrilateral. So, then this will be equal to BC is equal to diagonal into flank, okay, divided by the perpendicular, okay, because the perpendicular has been found, right, using the earlier result, how to find out the perpendiculars and segments. So, using that, so you get the result, okay. Okay, I think I will stop here. Thank you.
We were trying to find out the radius.
Radius, yes.
But before that is known, how do you get the geometrical construction? The way you were showing.
Which one? This one, right? Yeah. First of all, the proof is not given in the text of the commentary, and I am giving a modern proof. See, here the aim is to find the circumradius. Without knowing it, how does one locate the center? So, we do not know the location of the center of the circle O to start with. We know that the circle passes through the vertices of the triangle and we draw it, right. Let O be its center, I mean, though we do not know its location. Then you draw the diameter passing through A and the center O and carry on with the proof for finding the circumradius. The expression for the circumradius does not involve the knowledge of the location of the center. So, the proof is okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
You said Brahmaspada Siddhanta was what went to the Arabs until they followed.
One of the texts, yeah.
Until they followed Ptolemy.
No, after that they followed, much later.
Much later they followed Ptolemy.
Yes.
But Ptolemy wasn't Ptolemy before Brahmagupta, so then.
No, Ptolemy was before Brahmagupta, right? But this it so happened that earlier phase in the Islamic Arabic region, you see, they were more influenced by the Indian mathematics, Indian arithmetic, algebra, geometry and all that. As Professor M. D. Srinivas also mentioned yesterday, this Al-Khwarizmi, and he wrote a book and things like that. I mean, though Ptolemy was there, it had not reached them somehow, because probably they, India was nearer, and Indian influence was quite a widespread, not only Islamic Arabic countries, but also China and others had gone. So, it had gone in some natural course, and they received the Greek wisdom a little later. Yeah. Any other? So, it is mostly basically they are all the results which can be taught to in a high school level this thing. In fact, much of the high school level mathematics, I can say, is that mostly Indian kind of a thing, geometry or arithmetic and algebra, mostly which was developed first in India. And of course, we have some additions and all that later.
Is the cyclic quadrilateral described in Euclid's work?
I am not sure about that. Must be.
Are these results in what we hear is Euclid's work?
Not in Euclid. Probably, I think it is given in Apollonius or something like that. Is cyclic quadrilateral. So I am not sure. Probably somebody else may comment on that.
Diagonal result is proved much later in 17th century. Till then, it's not.
Diagonals anyway. I am coming to that in the next lecture. Okay. The references are given here. Okay, thank you.